Hi! Have you ever heard anyone say something really ridiculous as a tourist? Well, I'd like you to practice your listening comprehension and write down in the comments box below the anecdotes that I'm going to tell you that really happened. So this is Susan Broder from Speak Languages and Travel the World, here to help you improve your English with minimum effort and maximum benefit. Now, I have a friend who works in Venice, and she told me some very funny anecdotes which really happened to her. And it's amazing what people can think and say. So one of the first things that she told me was that she was walking in the centre of Venice, and someone rushed past and blocked her and said, "Excuse me, what time does Venice close?" Now, that's a very unusual question because Venice is a city, and you would never ask what time does New York close, what time does London close. It's not, let's say, a Disney World, a Disneyland. It's a city which is truly alive. So she was really amazed. And in the past, she used to find nice answers, polite answers. But over the years, she's become less and less patient, and sometimes she's quite ironical. Another thing that happened to her, and this was not actually a tourist, it was a person living more or less in the area of Vicenza, which is halfway between the city of Verona and Venice, so it's not very far. It's about maybe 45 minutes drive away. Now, you would think that someone who lives 45 minutes away from Venice would know that Venice is a city on the water and that the cars have to park outside Venice or in given car parks as close to Venice as possible, but there is no way you can actually drive into Venice because Venice has canals and bridges and streets which are all pedestrian. There is no other possibility. And so she said that one day she was working in this restaurant. She picked up the phone and an Italian lady asked her where the closest place was to park, since she had to come to the restaurant which she had booked for the evening. And my friend politely said, well, you know, there is the main car park just close to Venice, but you can't park near the restaurant. And she was very indignant and said, "But you have no idea who you're speaking to. I want to park right in front of the restaurant." And so my friend was totally amazed at this ignorance and said, well, you know, if you want, you can take a water taxi, a water boat, but there is no way you can get there by car. So it took a while to persuade this woman, and it was quite ridiculous, being that she lived so close that she had no idea that you can't drive in Venice. So there are very many strange tourists who have very strange ideas. And another one who stopped my friend and looked up at a tall building in the streets, in the narrow streets that there are in Venice. She pointed up to a window and said, you know, the light's on. Why is the light on in those windows? And my friend said, well, you know, it's 9 p.m. They're probably having dinner. And this tourist said, "Dinner? You mean to tell me that there are people who live up there?" So, of course, my friend at that point couldn't stand it any longer and decided to give an ironical answer and said, "No, ma'am, we are all paid €50 a day to come into Venice and pretend that this is a city which is lived in, but in reality we all go home at midnight." Yes, so unfortunately there are people who visit cities with no idea about it. They don't get any background information, and I find that they go through cities quite ignorantly. Fortunately, not everybody, but it does happen. Something else which occurred to my friend was whilst she was serving in the restaurant, a group of Americans complimented her on the food and said, but we have a question. So we are in Venice and we've also visited Rome, and Italy has these most magnificent buildings and the Colosseum and all these old buildings in Venice. But you know, they're so old and shabby. Why don't you knock them down and build some new ones? And there again, my friend was totally flabbergasted because the old ancient buildings are often, you know, protected, and so how one can think of knocking down buildings which have historic value is something out of this world for many people. Yes, so I don't know if you've understood these 4 anecdotes, but I'd like you to comment on any if you have had similar experiences, and in any case, if you can write in the comments box below about what you understood, we can see how many understood one or more of these anecdotes. Okay, so please tell us the stories you understood. And that's all for now. I hope you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!